It is a 9 a.m. 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Wednesday, June 4th, AD 2025. What is up, Willie Pal? Dubois, Fat, Scrap the Planet, Clayton. Not his real name, probably. Doxed. Mark, hey, man. I'm live on multiple platforms. Oh, cool. Evil is Still Real gave a super chat right off. And while I'm thinking of this, let me read my disclaimer. The views expressed on this show, the Hake Report, do not represent those of Bond, Jesse Lee Peterson, the network, this host even. Even what I say doesn't necessarily represent what I actually think, because it could come out wrong and all kinds of different reasons, you know. Nor does it represent the platform, the station that I'm on, if I'm on a station, the YouTube, of course, Rumble, Spilled, Punchy.tv. What's up, guys? Or anything else like that, okay? And what else? No endorsement nor opposition is implied. If somebody's called a fraud, I disavow it. Shout out. This show is for... I just discovered what my show is about. It's about general information and entertainment. And everything should be taken, as I often say, everything should be taken with a grain of salt. And I learned that as an idiom or a foreign word or phrase to mean you don't necessarily believe it, nor necessarily disbelieve it. Because I don't necessarily know. I'm just reading what the news says or reading into what the news claims. And when you read into stuff, you could be way off, you know? And the same thing with all my callers, guests, and the news, the so-called news itself. So that's my disclaimer. And hopefully with that, we don't have to hear Doug talking at the end of the show. Shout out. Anyway, yeah, so that's views, opinions, material, whatever. I think that views probably covers it, in my opinion. Shout out to these liars people. And there's some of you guys who might be in your head about why I'm saying this, but it's not necessarily what you think. So, yeah. Yeah, and I cannot do the, what's a Persian cucumber? Is that a bad thing to say? White Wing 1776, Pass the Shadow, Smart Poker. I'm just saluting the people who are in the live chat here. On many of my different platforms on which I stream video. I'm also streaming on audio. What's up, you audio TSL TalkStream Live Listen Line listeners? Shout out. I know that some of you guys call into the JLP TalkStream Live Listen Line, and that's where you can catch Hake as well, which is pretty cool. Let's see. I know I haven't prepared the intro yet. I have to. Let me do this. Boing. You know, isn't that nice? No, Hake did not take this picture. It's just a desktop. And you can't say it's just a desktop. It's a beautiful desktop. It's like arguably better than Hake's photography. Hake's photography. Am I right? Terrible. I will be taking your calls. If it be the Lord's will, which is my Bible speak for what JLP says, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Sup, Everblazer, or Threeverblazer. Sup. And I will be reading your super chats. In fact, let me start off with a super chat or two, because I like it. Evil is still real. Here. Evil is still real says with a Rumble rant, before I even started the stream, I think, to answer Krishan's questions at the end of the show yesterday. Yes, Wig Nat Mark, he calls him. I don't call him that. As you know, the views expressed on this show don't represent. Wig Nat Mark, which is short for Wigger, nationalist. Mark is an idiot. Whoa. Yes, Mark is stupid. Don't say this, kids. And also, yes, Mark is an ignorant fool. Do not despise your brother. If you say, you fool, you're in the danger of hell fire. But yeah, yes, he's idiot. Yes, he's stupid. Yes, he's an ignorant fool. Okay, to answer Krishan's question, because Krishan was asking, are you an idiot? Are you stupid? Are you an ignorant fool? Shout out to Krishan, the dawn of the Misfit Nation. Hope you guys enjoyed him. And shout out to Evil is Still Real. Thanks as always for the support, man. And thanks to Mark for the support, man. And for the contributions to content and entertainment on the show. True or false, I don't care. Because in the broad speaking, I think that Mark is, in principle, he's right. It's just because the law. Shout out Jules, Age of Inversion, and everybody else. I want to, here, let me see if I can unmute this. Just to have a touch of background noise, even though I'm talking in the background. Because,
global warming is real, I guess.
You guys hear me? I said global warming is real, I guess.
Will you look at that?
Will you look at that? Anyway, guys.
Think it'll fall on me?
Let's just get right on.
Let's hope not.
I have some news to cover, actually. But your calls, too. With the
Are they branches or are they roots?
show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing a nice shirt today, too. Don't you think? Don't you think it's pretty nice? I think it's nice. It is a button-up shirt. Short-sleeved. I prefer the short sleeves. People are like, oh, I shouldn't mock because it's William III from California. I call him the third to distinguish him from the seventh. He says, you should be wearing a long sleeve shirt, man. It's like one of those teachers who wears short sleeve shirt with a tie or whatever. Shout out to the teachers. Oh, that was one super. That was a Rumble rant. There were other supers, in fact. Let me read a couple of more supers because I want to be not remiss. Hey, I didn't split my infinitive. Gregatron says, last week I saw a black man with a I can't breath t-shirt on. Was it literally spelled I can't breath? Or was it spelled with an E at the end to indicate I can't breathe? T-shirt on. I don't know. I could believe either one, honestly. I avoided conversation with him because I didn't want to get pulled into his mess. Indeed. Indeed. People need to wake up. They're so lost. Why would you wear a shirt with Georgia, Florida on? Come on, people! Question mark, exclamation mark. And a triple question mark after. Yeah, I'm with you, Gregatron. And what you're saying here about I avoided conversation, didn't want to get pulled into his mess, reminds me of my conversation with the great and honorable and white, I think, Justin and Fullerton yesterday called in toward the end of the show in the last 15 minutes or so, because I end at 5 till. and said that he saw some crazy incident at at an amusement park. He was there with his wife and maybe kid or whatever. And there was this other family, or I guess, linking arms and blocking somebody and getting into a fight. And he had to go over to their area and get his wife. But in the midst of it, he prayed and he showed the peace sign, which is hippie stuff. But he was indicating peace. That you can do a hippie sign to indicate peace to people and reason with them. And I was like, oh man, I don't think that you were right for getting involved like that. And because you don't necessarily want to get pulled into their mess. And then, like what Krishan said yesterday is, how are you gonna? It's ridiculous to be a coward, too cowardly to step in and correct these criminals while people stand by and do nothing. People stand by, do nothing, maybe take some video, and don't stop these criminals who are mass looting these stores, CVS, for example, I guess. It's just infuriating. And then you just complain on the internet, oh, the country's gone, because you don't do anything. But Krishan might ask, hey, how is that man going to wake up, Gregatron, if you don't get involved in his mess? But they are so lost, and the Bible does say something like, I think, and it appeals to common sense, actually. Sometimes you don't correct a fool in his folly, right? You don't cast pearls before swine. You may be misguided in it. And Krishan rightly brought up the issue of cowardice, because there's cowardice and there's wisdom. And they both might take the same tactic of not getting involved. But it's interesting. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's even worse than wearing an Obama shirt. At least Obama was something that used to be honorable, I guess. Did it ever used to be honorable, being the office of the president? It's honorable again under Trump, right? The office of the president has been restored to dignity because Trump is dignified. I noticed that when I'm looking at this conflict between Elon Musk and our greatest president, Trump. Before I get to your calls, I respect Elon's complaining, right? He's complaining. But Elon is also, I think, seemingly, according to how the media presents him, a touch unstable. Whereas Trump is a very stable genius. Trump doesn't take drugs or alcohol, to my knowledge, other than caffeine in the form of Diet Coke, they say, which I tend to believe. But Elon, they say, takes like Adderall and different things. I don't know if it's Adderall or ketamine or some different things. According to them, the news. That's what I read. And so he's very distraught and perhaps emotional. Kind of like what Putin accused Trump of being when Trump called Putin crazy. Putin accused Trump of having an emotional overload, or at least Putin's office did. Oh, Trump is just having an emotional overload. Not Trump specifically, but other people. Other leaders are having emotional overload. Whoa. I think that Elon has maybe emotional overload with regard to like this big, beautiful bill, which may not actually be beautiful. There's a lot of people on many sides saying this bill, this big, beautiful bill that they've passed or are passing or whatever, that it's no good. It's increasing spending, the deficit and all that stuff. And we've been hearing about spending and deficit. I only cared about spending and deficit under Obama. I don't care about it under Trump because I basically trust Trump, and I know not to trust Obama. And I care a little bit about it, but I think that that sometimes you have to spend more money on what you need, and then you get stuff under control. For example, he had to build up the military after Obama depleted it the first time around. And they're like, oh, you spent all this money on the military. Now, that said, I know there's a lot of rhinos involved in the writing of this bill, and probably Democrats too, and evil people and not trustworthy people. And so I don't dispute that there's going to be a lot of stuff that makes it not beautiful bill. But I just find it interesting that Trump seems stable and Elon seems, maybe because he's younger, less wise, perhaps, more unstable. You look at Trump's family life, it has stabilized seemingly. He's older, wiser, settled down with Melania and Barron. You know what I mean? Whereas Elon allegedly having a bunch of babies by a bunch of different women and stuff. So, and then he's working for the government, then he's not. But he was supposed to stop working for the government around this point. But maybe they could have extended it if it were working well. I just don't know. I just find it just interesting. Not making a judgment against either man, of course. Anyway, that's whatever. Not much to say. Let me get to some calls here. Mark, I had to cut him short yesterday because I got him at the tail end of the show. But Mark in Los Angeles, how are you doing, man? What's up? Are you there, Mark? Mark, I think you might be on mute unless... Oh, okay. Mark, I just got to you because I was on the other line thinking that was you.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to say that I appreciate getting on the last 2 minutes.
Nice. Me too.
I wasn't able to really say what I wanted. Do you remember when Trump, when he was running last fall, he said that he wanted to be a dictator for one day?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, what I was trying to tell Krishan, I want Trump to be a dictator for 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe in dictatorship or authoritarianism, but in this case, in America's situation today, we can't have judges blocking everything Trump's trying to do, which is unconstitutional. If these judges weren't in the way and Trump had full power, the way I wanted to describe it yesterday,
yeah.
What do you think big government is? It's big government that's deporting these people. ICE is a part of a big government. There's nothing wrong with big government if it's pro-white and pro-Christian. That's what I was trying to say. But did you notice how he became insultive within 2 minutes? As soon as he got to speak, I don't know what he said, but he did insult me. And I think the reason for
you're
that
referring
was,
to my guest, Krishan, the Dawn of the Misfit Nation, who said, are you an idiot? You can't, if you give power to the government, they're never going to give it up, was his point.
Not if it's pro-white, not if it's pro-Christian. We've had government controlled by, I'm not going to say the group, but it begins with a J, and they've been in control for many, many decades now. So we need to take it back. And that's what I was referring to. We need an authoritarian government long enough to get this country back in shape. It's going to take big government to deport these criminals. So, Krishan, first of all, I thought he was okay.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, he is a half-breed. We can't trust those kind of people. Hayden said it, and I agree. You can't have colored people lead in any type of leadership position because they can't be trusted.
That's
now,
an interesting
there's a
statement.
couple other things, and I'll make it quick, Hake, because I know your time's limited. there's somebody in the chat that keeps asking me.
Oh, you know what? Oh, well, okay. What's the question? Just address the question, yeah, without addressing the person in the chat.
No,
in
no,
the
I won't
personal
say his
attack.
name.
No,
But,
not just about the name, but even like any insultive.
No
statements.
insulting.
Okay.
No, he just wants to know the names of the books I sent you. I know you're not big on me naming names on
Right.
books.
Yeah.
So if you want to tell him, feel free. And to the person writing, I did my best.
Okay.
I'm not in the chat, so I can't answer him that way.
Good for you,
But
actually.
I wanted to throw that. And number two, and this is it, I didn't insult Schwarzenegger in front of his family. In fact, I didn't insult him at all. All I told him was to support Trump. I said it about 3 times, but that's not an insult. It's not a threat.
I thought you accused him of being weak or something.
Well, I may have said something like that, but it's not a threat in any way.
Right.
And he wasn't with his family. See, somebody in the chat again lies or doesn't understand what happened, and I would do it again.
Oh, right, yeah. People
Speaker came out in favor of Harris. But to get back to what the call was for, I believe that, like Trump said, he wanted to be a dictator for a day. I strongly agree with that, but it's going to take more than a day to get past these communist judges. It's not a matter of checks and balances. These people are on the warpath, the judges and the ACLU and the Soros-backed groups that are suing Trump, the enemies of America. They have to be ignored. And you can't have small government and deport 20 million people. Sometimes big government is good. And I'm sure the people in Europe are yearning for the old days when foreigners were not allowed in, and now Germany, France, and many other, even Ireland, are becoming infested with African immigrants and Muslims. And I think I brought it up to you on your show the other day about what happened in Paris, France. They're not showing much of that on the media because they don't want us to know what's going on in the world. But they did more damage in one day than the Germans did when they took over France in the 40s. They brought law and order. And I could say one thing, the Germans would have never tolerated these maggots from Africa destroying France. There would have been blood on the streets. But it was pathetic to watch, Hake. You had normal French families protecting their children from these savages. And savages is the word to describe these people. And I think if more people in Europe and America wake up, maybe what Hayden said the other day is right. We can have a white racial revival and take our land back.
All right. I disavow calling them maggots.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
savages.
Yes. Because acting savagely.
Yes.
Just
and the people are afraid to go out on
PC for the YouTube. But
and we one bit of good news, we did get a conservative to win in Poland. You know, Poland's a good country. You know, that dopey guy from Baltimore doesn't like Poland or Polish people because he's a dummy.
Yeah.
But if you go to Poland or if you see what Poland's like, it's better than any U.S. city. If you go to the big cities of Poland, they're safe, they're clean, and they're unobstructed by savages. And so, you know, but the main point of the call was just to let you know, because I really didn't have time to respond.
Right.
Yes, is that authoritarianism in the pursuit of, you know, getting our country back is a worthwhile goal. People need to understand that. Krishan the Don, I don't know, I thought he was all right. I think he thought yesterday when he insulted me that I was Robert, because Robert really insulted him the last appearance he made on your show.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it was anything
I don't know
personal.
either.
Yeah,
but I mean, there was no reason for that. It was a personal insult, which I could take.
he was it sounded like the way that I took it was he was responding to the notion of authoritarian for a second, or authoritarian for a little while. Notion that that it doesn't work out that way, because when you give the government power, the government never gives it back, and then worse people take over and abuse that power worse than you can even imagine. That's his take, I think.
Let me ask you this. If Trump could be, and I hate to use this word, but I don't know what other word to use. If Trump were to be a dictator and get all of his ideas across and enforced by law, would you support that?
I would.
So would I. Ask Krishan if he would. Doesn't sound like he would.
But I don't think that Krishan supports these judges getting in the way. Like, it's if Trump is only gonna last 4 years, maybe 8 if he gets his third term like he says he's gonna do, and and then somebody else worse than him is gonna replace him and use the excuse of, well, Trump disregarded these judges just blatantly, so can I. And then there may be good judges who try to stop an evil president rather than an evil judges stopping a good president. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say right now in America, the white race is at a crossroads. Either we're going to get rid of these illegals who are going to vote communist with their domesticated colored brothers, or we're going to get rid of them. And whatever happens after Trump leaves, if he could codify a lot of the laws that I voted for him for, it would be that much harder for another Democrat to come in and undo them. Although Biden did that when he came in, 4 years ago, Trump was never a dictator in his first 4 years.
Right.
I think it's fair to say Biden was, whether he was being controlled by Obama and Susan Rice, or he did it on his own. I tend to believe he was controlled in the things he did. But you know what?
I think
not
so too.
one court, not one district judge stopped the invasion. Not one of them. So nobody said a word. They allowed this invasion to go.
Yeah, I know.
And now that Trump's trying to send them back, they're throwing every roadblock they can. That's why I believe Trump should be a dictator. If anybody doesn't like it,
I got you, Mark. Thank you. I got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Take care.
God bless. Thank you.
All right. Oh, man. Jermaine in Canada is on the line here. Jermaine, thanks for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, Hake.
Oh, your phone is a little off, Jermaine.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better. Thanks.
Amazing. Yes, yeah, I'm just touching base with you. You were talking with Krishan Don yesterday about the Jordan Peterson debate.
Yeah, where this Jordan Peterson, past guest on the Jesse Lee Peterson show back in 2016, I think. He debated a bunch of atheist whippersnappers, arrogant atheist whippersnappers, by the way. And the crowd thinks that, and the crowd may be right, may be wrong, I don't know. But the crowd thinks that Jordan Peterson made a fool of himself and betrayed his lack of Christianity or whatever, which he's kind of always been on the fence on that whole issue. Whereas other people say that the atheists made fools of themselves.
Yeah.
Or both.
So
I don't know.
So what I did, I went home. It was an hour or something long. I was like, oh, do I want to put an hour into this?
Yeah.
But I sat there and I listened to it. I don't always agree with Jordan Peterson because, you know, he says some things that I will disagree with. But I think that debate was real. It wasn't a debate, I find. The atheists, they went there to debate him, but he went there to have a conversation. That's what I saw in that entire video that I watched.
Yeah.
They were there to like grill him, and not to learn anything, but just to grill him and be intellectual about the situation. And he's an intellectual too, but I think he went there with trying to understand why. Because the question the prompt questions that he asked was very interesting, right? And there was only
what was one of his questions, or one or two of his questions that he asked?
One was that the atheists they're rejecting God, but they don't know what they're rejecting.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in a clip.
Yes, that was a good one because they went there with their intellect, think they know who God is, like, you know, like the intellect. They read the Bible. One of the guy, he studied to be a priest, or he went to the Catholic. He did he did everything to become a priest. And
stay close to your phone so you come through clearly, consistently.
Oh yeah. So he
Thanks.
studied to be a priest, and what he was saying that he ended up not liking it, but I think he got traumatized.
Oh yeah.
From the study. You know, Christians they they were brought up in that sort of, knowing God and be Christian, but they identify with it, but they don't know who God is really.
Right.
And that's what I was getting from that conversation with that guy.
Yeah.
But there was this arrogant guy that he was like, "Are you a Christian or not?" And it was just so interesting. He tried to like pinpoint him down for him to say he's Christian, right? But then this black girl, I don't remember her name. She put up she was there to understand. She wanted to understand from the question that she asked, because one of the questions she asked was, people that don't know God but they act out on these commandments without knowing the commandment, are they Christian, right? And the people that are Christian, they're like 60% act out on these commandments, but what makes you a Christian? So it was just, that question was really interesting because, people who identify with the word Christianity or call themselves Christian, they don't really act out on the commandment and do what is right.
I noticed
they
that.
They're hypocrites.
Yeah.
So that was one of the best conversations I see so far. Maybe I rewatch it again and then I'll see more. But so far, she was there to understand, not to debate. She was trying to get an understanding.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Right on, man. That's cool. I like that. I like that question, because that question of people who claim to be Christian but they don't live it. Like I've seen bits and pieces of this mafia TV show. The Italians, they're Catholic, right? But they don't live like it. And then the blacks too. They're Christian, but they live like they can't help but have the sex out of wedlock and kill the babies and different things. Not necessarily kill the babies, but have the sex out of wedlock. They're like, "Oh, I'm human." And they just, all kinds of people, and people could probably say the same thing about anybody. "Oh, I thought you're a Christian." That's sort of a judgmental outlook on what a Christian is, like, or maybe a misunderstanding of what a Christian is. But the people living are really not living like Christians, because they're just like the world too. They only love those who love them in their eyes, which is what Jesus said. That's what the pagans do. Shout out to the pagans.
Are the person that have the same morals that you have, and if they don't have it, you judge them. And that question was brought up too about moral and values.
Yeah.
But there was an interesting one too that he says the atheists, even though they might not know that they worship God secretly, or know that they worship, if they're not worshiping something, they're secretly worshiping something without knowing it.
Yeah.
And
right.
The thing that was brought up was the guy, he brought up, like, if he's worshiping his wife, what was very interesting. It was a very interesting conversation. So.
Oh, if he's worshiping his wife, is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And Jordan Peterson tried to, like, break it down. Like, there's an hierarchy, there's a top, and there's a bottom.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a foundation, then you're in the middle and you're fragmentized. So you're worshiping different things without knowing it. Depending on what you prioritize, right? But it was very intellectual, which I don't like those type of conversation, because you learn nothing. They're going off your knowledge and
yeah, it's kind of mind numbing.
Yeah, and they try to play it word solid. I'm like, this kind of hurt my brain, but
yeah,
like, whatever.
Terrible. What is word salad? Explain word salad to me. I've heard it before, and I like the term, I think. Go ahead.
It's just a game, right? They just throw, from what I understand, they just try to throw big words out that they learn, and then they use it to probably confuse you and back you into a corner. That's why with that guy, he was asked if he was Christian or Catholic, because he goes to church, and was saying, do they worship Mary? And he was trying to back him into a corner, and he says, don't be smart. Don't be a smart ass. So that was kind of funny. And then the guy got irritated.
Word salad, I think of as bringing up sort of different points and then kind of losing track of what your point is. or at least other people lose track of what your point is.
Yeah, because of all the word plays.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and it's not even necessarily meant to. I wonder if word salad is people who don't really have a good grasp of what their point is, and so they talk and talk, and they don't even necessarily realize that they don't have a grasp of it.
Yeah.
There's one of my black history teachers said the more you talk or the more you write, the less you look like you know what you're talking about.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is, I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I think there's some truth to that a lot of the time. Anyway, cool, man. Thank you for the input about that.
Yeah. Yeah, Hank. It was
The
a pleasure,
observations.
man.
Yeah, good hearing from you, Jermaine. Take care.
Bye. Cheers.
All right. Huh. Interesting. I got to get to Jeff in Louisiana on the line over here. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Man, if you're looking for us on the dictionary, there's a picture of Kamala Harris.
What? There's a picture of Kamala Harris in which word of the dictionary?
Word salad.
Word salad. Oh, yeah. She says...
I've heard it so many times talk about her. Is all she does is word salad. That's all I heard. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't tell you.
Kamala,
I mean,
that's a good point. Let me kind of give an example of Kamala doing an impression, basically, vague. For example, Ukraine is a country, okay? And,
yeah.
and
that one.
Russia went into Ukraine, which Ukraine is supposed to be its own country, but Russia violated Ukraine's borders, okay? And basically she's trying to explain something very simply, but...
Sounds stupid.
Yeah, it sounds stupid. That's a good explanation. You broke it down.
I'm going to tell you that, man. I make up, you've talked to me a million times. You probably know I get weird crap in my head. And every now and then I know I go on these online on these stores. I make up T-shirts.
T-shirts?
Yeah, and I just have one print with stuff I like. Something I think about. So I think it's funny. It's like I'm supposed to have to print out something. Well, that I can't breathe T-shirt.
Yeah.
I had one made that says I can't breathe on the front. On the back it says I'm a smoker.
Nice. That's funny, man. Shout out. I like your humor, actually. That's really funny.
Now, this is going to have one mild word in it, but it's something I had friend. It's a conversation starter. I have one friend that says, I'd rather snort cocaine up a hooker's ass.
Whoa. No.
And you walk through mall, people always stop and ask you, rather than what?
Oh.
I'm like,
Okay.
oh, yeah. I live down here in Louisiana. I don't like all this hunting and fishing and crap, I'd rather, if I want to...
Keep it clean. Keep it clean, Jeff. But you'd rather than hunting and fishing, that was what you would rather do?
Yeah, something like that. I don't want to go. I ain't gonna call
I shouldn't laugh. I'm setting a bad example for the kids. That's not funny.
Well, I ain't gonna go sit in a deer stand at 4 o'clock in the morning. There ain't no point in it. I ain't go to the store and buy some meat.
Yeah, go to the store, buy some meat. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's just stuff like that, man. But
shout out to the hunters and fishermen. But I'll hang out with people who are fishing. I haven't been out. I don't disclose whether I've been out hunting yet. I don't dox. But yeah, I'm not particularly interested in fishing, but I'll hang out with people while doing it and, have a snack, play a little music or whatever.
Man, I tell you, it's not so much the activity. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Of hunting. They get people. It's like my grandpa was a big time rabbit hunter.
Rabbit hunter? Your grandpa was?
Yeah. Sorry, man. And I think he got out now. He raised dogs and built child magazines.
Dogs.
And like
And,
he was just, like he raised beagles for rabbit hunting.
oh, okay. Nice.
Like he had he was a genius, man. He built boxes up off the ground and run electrical wires to them and sent to them. And they barked, they barked the wrong scent, like a deer scent. It shocked them to break them, chase anything but rabbits.
Oh.
But like he would go out in the woods, and we'd go out in the woods, and he'd just pull out there, and he'd let his dogs out. He could just pull out stores and there, listen to them run. He could tell you what they chased them, where they at, and everything else. He stood there for hours doing that.
Wow.
Not have a gun with him.
Yeah.
And just come back and get took home. I mean, people, that's their relaxation.
People got different interests. There's people who just, and I do not relate to those interests, but I can relate to having interests that other people are not interested in.
Yeah, I that's just so boring. It's like I can sit there and watch a court Bible more for hours and just waiting on it to go down. Like, oh man, let's go. Almost go on watch catfish every play. We gotta get those. Or something like that. But no, man, let's do it.
Nice, Jeff. It's good to hear from you, man.
I want to say, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, man, that's all. You have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Take care. Very nice. I got to get to Mitt in Louisiana. Mitt in Australia. Mitt. Is it Mitt or Mitt?
Hey.
Doing well.
Awesome, brother. Hey, I just want to say, I didn't have a question before. I wanted to ring up and say g'day. But I love the shirt. The shirt's been doing wonders on my eyes through all the JLP shows.
No.
And through the Hake Report. I've been watching your shirt and doing patterns and spinning at me as well. I'm 100% straight, not on any outgoes or anything. It's just after
Stay
effects.
close to your phone or your mic. Stay close to your mic or your phone so you come through clearly.
Oh, okay. Is it better like this? Is it better like that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Hey, I wanted to ask about I want to buy some merch. Can you bring in like a 5XL hoodie one day and just show us, like on the Hake Report or the JLP show, and just show us what a 5XL, because I want to buy it, but I don't want to buy like Asian sizes. You know what I mean? I'm scared I'm going to buy like a 5XL and then I'll get it and I'll put it on and it'll be like held tight. I'm big and fat, but I just like huge clothes, you know? I'm like a homie, you know? Is it big? Is it Asian sizes or is it American sizes?
It is not necessarily Asian sizes, but I do notice that a lot of these T-shirts fit either 2 size or just a touch under size. So so definitely order. You're probably exaggerating with the 5XL stuff.
No, I really want to buy a 5XL.
I don't even know if that exists. I don't know if that exists in our store. But
it does.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we have anything that big. I could probably, if you're my size, I could try to check what we have, but I don't even think that we have hoodies necessarily in our office here, because they're not. They're ordered through, as you may know, they're ordered through a third party
company that does it.
Who manufactures
it. It's like everything with the coffee and everything. I understand that 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a question.
You might have to just take the risk.
I might do it, and I'm going to buy you coffee after this as well. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you heard that gingers are actually blacks? Have you heard this theory that gingers are actually black people?
I don't think I have, but I have seen blacks with red hair. So I'm not sure if those are like Creoles or those people with the albinos, but
albinos, and I've seen like white black people as well too.
Yeah.
That's like you're the first white black person I said to that person I've seen at the airport. Yeah, no, I've seen that albino black people. That's cool too. But there's this new thing that's on TikTok that that they reckon gingers are actually black people. I don't know much about it. I don't know if I can speak about it, but that was my one thing I wanted to say. And hey, I just wanted to do a shout out to Spidey in the chat. He's the same age as me.
Nice.
And I just wanted to say, stay strong, and the universe just wants you to know that you are loved, and that love will enter your life when you're ready and when you want it to. And you don't trust people, trust yourself. And I just wanted to do that little shout out there to Spidey in the chat. I've been in the chat the whole JLP show. I've been too scared to ring JLP, but I thought I'd give you a call and say love from Australia.
Thank
It's
you.
a real quick g'day, love ya.
Is it 3 a.m. over there for you?
It is. Let me just check my phone. Hold on. It is 2:45
Okay,
a.m.
2:45. Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Loving it.
It's an
Hey, I love
ungodly
you, Hake.
hour
Love
to
the
be up.
What? Yeah, I know. It's normal for me. I used to sleep
Mina's
all
in the
day and-
Mina was in the chat. She's or he. I don't want to dox whether Mina's a he or a she. 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Aussies love Hake, something like that. I thought I saw.
Yeah, hell yeah. I tell everyone to try and stay up for you, but most of my friends are asleep by like 10, 11 o'clock. But,
You know you
I'll
can
do the
always
night out.
catch it afterward. I know that live is perhaps more exciting, but if you
I was doing that with I missed JLP about 2 days ago.
Yeah,
and I
just
was
podcast.
watching- Yeah. I was
Catch
watching.
what you
Hey,
can.
why is the Fallen State on Spotify? The last episode it says 2024. So has there been no Fallen State episodes the whole of 2025?
No, there's been a whole bunch of episodes in 2025. The fallenstate.tv. I wonder if
finally got
if you're
the
looking at
Spotify working.
if I go to episodes and I go to Spotify,
And
looking
then
at
the very, very top one, it says,
Duck Dynasty.
I can't do it now because I'm on the phone to you, but it was like 2024, and I'm like, why is the Fallen Statement? Spotify,
No,
I
here,
swear,
here.
is, like,
If you go to the
censoring
Fallen,
yours should have be in the millions of
Hey.
followers. Like, yours should have millions. Yeah,
I
sorry.
agree. But if you go to the
Yeah.
fallenstate.tv and you scroll down
Yeah.
to podcasts, unless unless Australia is like
Fallenstate.tv.
banning Spotify episodes or censoring them, if you go to
It's Spotify,
the
I
Fallen
think itself,
State,
because I could,
no, hold on, let me finish talking, man.
Sorry.
The fallenstate.tv, and then
the fallenstate.tv.
you go to the menu, you click on episodes.
And podcast. Episodes. Podcast.
Yeah, episodes, and you scroll down to podcasts, you'll see Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Pandora. Some of these may be bad links. I'm not sure if they're up to date, but I know that Spotify has. I'm looking at it right here. I clicked on it. It went to Duck Dynasty's Phil Robertson, episode 6, which is number 44. Girl Boop Owners Radio's August McLaughlin, episode 406. My Pillow Guy, Mike Lindell, 405. These are all 2025. Atheist activist David Silverman. Christian homeschooling advocate Joe Stout, 403. Former Senate candidate Lauren Witzke, not Witzka, 402. These are all April, May, and 2025 episodes that are on the Spotify.
Well, I've got some watching to do.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find them. I literally, Spotify is censoring them or something for me.
Well, maybe
you're Spotify.
Sometimes those things create. Good afternoon, Mikey Baseball 93. Sometimes those platforms seem to like create an alternative show to the one that we're actually updating. So you may be looking at the wrong podcast link or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I think I just got to delete Spotify and try and just do it through the website. Usually, sometimes I watch you from just what's the punchytv.com. Sometimes I just go on there and watch it off the actual site.
Punchy.tv.
Streaming from the site.
Well, yeah, if you
but
catch it
usually on
live, you
YouTube.
can there. It doesn't have the archives at this point, but if you go to you can even click on the Spotify link and see if it pulls it up, the Spotify link on the website.
I'd have to put you on speaker and do it. It'd be too complicated to do it. But
are you that much
I'll
of a
let you know in
boomer?
the
How old
future.
are you?
I'm 35, mate.
So you're younger than me, and you're
99.
this much of a boomer that you don't know how to go through a website and then click on the Spotify thing?
I swear Spotify's like...
Send us an email. Send an email.
Play the episodes. I was
Send an
pressing
email.
play.
Hey. Send an email.
Yeah.
Send an email. Producer at jesseleepeterson.com.
Screenshots
If
or
you
something.
if you need those instructions. But
Okay, awesome.
don't be such a
Awesome.
boomer, man.
And hey, I love the shirt. I love the shirt. Trippy as hell. Love from Australia, and keep doing what you're doing. And I hope that this reaches millions and millions of people. I love you, Hake. I love you, Jesse. And I just want to touch base and send love from Australia.
Thank you, Mitt. I appreciate it, man. Take care. Mitt in Australia. Kids, Australians all, and Southerners apparently, because that boy too, Jeff in Louisiana, they all cuss. And they don't know that they're not supposed to cuss. Shout out. Nice. Right on. Wow. Okay, before I get back to calls, and your super chats. I did see some super chats come in. Let me read a little bit of the news. I did see Cesar, and others. If you mosey on over to the HakeReport.com, let's see, yeah, and click on the show, and you go over to the Hake Report blog post, you will see some stuff in the news. That illegal alien was framed, allegedly, who threatened our greatest president, Trump. That's funny. Tariffs on aluminum. They're like, go easy on Canada, not just be tough on China, these aluminum people. The Navy ships on the fake false pride in false identity month, they are renaming the ships from that fake hero Harvey Milk, who was assassinated. I disavow all assassinations. You don't fight evil with evil. I don't know what was the motive. I didn't even remember, I guess, that he was assassinated. Maybe I knew. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Oh, yeah, based Pete. He's a Christian. He's roughly my age. Has ordered the Secretary of the Navy to rename the USNS, I guess that means United States Navy ship, USNS instead of USS, US ship, whatever, US Navy ship, whatever, the USNS Harvey Milk. Can you believe it? Well, I guess that Harvey was a Navy guy. Join the Navy to see the world. But what did I see? I saw the sea. The Hegseth orders the renaming of this is from Commie Nonsense Network. Radical homosexual propaganda. Hegseth orders the renaming of the ship named after so-called gay rights, no such thing, icon, Harvey Milk, who was, well, I won't get into what he was up to in his life. If you're into finding out dirty deeds, then you can get into that, but I'm not, that's not what I'm about here with this. Natasha Bertrand. Okay. This is the boat. What a beautiful boat. I guess. Oh, no, that's the John... Okay, yes. That's the John Lewis class. So that's pretty low class. John Lewis, not a hero. Right, John Lewis? Is that the guy, the black guy who... He was young during the so-called civil rights movement, and then he was old recently, and he died, I think. Replenishment oiler. That's what... I guess that's a boat that brings oil to the other boats to replenish them because they need oil to run or something like that. USNS Harvey Milk, ATO 206, conducts a replenishment at sea with the world's largest aircraft carrier. Where's the aircraft carrier? Is it in the background or something? Where is it? USS, the largest aircraft carrier, USS Gerald Ford. CVN 78, December 13th, 2024 AD. Which is funny. It's funny because it's happening in June, and June is supposedly their month. In Canada, it's a whole season. It's Pride Summer or Pride Season. Can you believe it? Terrible. Talk about kiss-up culture. That's disgusting. That's not right. That's not right. You're validating that which is not them as though it's them. Be who you are. That's not who you are. That's what you're been sucked into. The ship launched in 2021, named after gay rights activist. Oh, Lord. Terrible. I disavow whatever that ad is. He's a Navy veteran. He was made to resign from the force. Oh, yeah, because he was not morally straight. He was, you know, in those days, it was a mental illness, maybe. It was considered a mental illness. Then they changed the mental illnesses and said, oh, no, they're not actually mentally ill, because mental illness is a misnomer. It's a psycho-spiritual issue. Set to be renamed officially later this month. In the June so-called false pride and false identity month. Nice. In your face, gays. For once, the straights are getting in the gays' face. Because the gays get in the straights' face. Not that it's a war. We're not fighting. It's not clear what the new name will be. Timing notable given that June is Pride Month. Military.com first reported the expected name change. So, nice. And they don't know whether they're going to rename these other things, too. Because there's a bunch of fake heroes who are named John Lewis. What? Class of oiler ship they were named after so-called civil rights leaders. No such thing, right? USNS Earl Warren. Ever heard of him? Robert F. Kennedy, the daddy. We should rename it to RFK Jr. Nice. Because it keeps up the health of the aircraft carriers. Because RFK Jr. is the Secretary of Health. Robert F. Kennedy, not a good man. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., solid, even though he's liberal. Maybe I'll disavow that later. Lucy Stone, whoever that is. Sojourner Truth. More like Sojourner Lies, probably. Am I right? I don't know who these people are. I've heard the Sojourner Truth name before, for sure. I don't feel like getting into it and looking them up and telling you all about it. Not yet known if those ships will be targeted, they call it, for renaming. Such a move would be in line with Hegseth's aim of eliminating any diversity, equity, and inclusion content in the Defense Department. Yeah, because it's propaganda. It's evil. The liberal, evil, communist, immoral, anti-God, anti-man agenda, anti-American agenda in the American government. Chief Pentagon spokesman, they call it spokesperson, Sean Parnell, probably a man, sounds like a man to me, said any decision to rename other vessels be announced when internal review is complete. Secretary Hegseth committed to ensuring the names attached to all DoD Department of Defense installations and assets are reflective of the Commander-in-Chief's priorities, our nation's history, and the warrior ethos. Yeah, so this guy, he broke the rules by trying to be not morally straight in the Navy, and that's a dangerous place to be not morally straight. What? Because you're stuck on a boat with people. Isn't that the Navy? You're stuck on a boat with people. You want the people with whom you're stuck not to be morally straight. Otherwise, I don't want to make any jokes or puns. So that's good news. It's a war of symbols and words and names. And so, whatever. It's kind of meaningless. By the time you have to change a name or call something, you can't do this, or say marriage is between a man and a woman, if you get to the point where you have to say it, you've already lost. That just shows that the people are lost. It's terrible. Isn't it true? You think about it. It goes without saying that a marriage is between a man and a woman. That's what a marriage is, you know? But the so-called Supreme Court is lost about that. At least John Roberts is. So you've already lost, but nice. I appreciate it, I think. Whatever. I'll get back to a little bit more of the news in a second, but I want to get back to the calls here. Daniel, a first-time caller in Arizona, is on the line. Daniel, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
Nice. It's nice calling you guys.
Yeah.
What is it called? I kind of met you guys like 2 months ago. Got like meeting bond, whatever.
Yep.
I don't know if you probably wouldn't remember. I left like not on this, but on Jesse's show, a super chat where I was like, my girlfriend of 4 years left me and whatever. And you guys pretty much like were the ones that saved me through all the hell that I was going through.
Okay. I might remember that. I'm not sure. I've read things sort of along those lines, those themes of happenings. Sorry, Lincoln.
Right.
Yeah. Cool, man.
But yeah, anyways, it was just I don't know if you remember, but Jesse was calling with this guy. I think his name was Don.
Yeah, Don from the UK. Or
right,
he was
and
maybe calling
he
from
was really
the UK.
going through it.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say that, like, in case he's hearing it, like, he should keep going through it because the fact that he's able to see it when he mentions, like, oh, he's using food or he's using, like, other things to try to take his mind of it. The fact that he's able
food
to
and the
see
internet. Escaping into
Right.
food and the internet rather than staying
Right.
with watching his thoughts and working on himself.
Right, and I just think that it's great that he's able to see it because if he was in hell and he, like, just lived in it, it would be way worse.
Yeah. Yeah, you can end up, you can speed up the end of your physical life. You can catch an early death sinking into that world, or
Right.
all kinds of
And it's all an
undue
illusion
things.
too, right?
Say again?
It's all an illusion.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, no, I noticed that.
It's what do you mean by it's an illusion?
Well, it's kind of like, so what is like your definition for an illusion?
Something that seems like it's real or important but isn't.
Right, exactly. So it's like you, like, for example, when he says the internet, when he escapes to it, he's like, oh, I'm using this, when in reality the internet's not real. Like, nobody there is real. It's just like a platform that you use that you can interact or whatever, but it shouldn't be like more than that, you know? It's not really like a scapegoat or anything unless you identify with it.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's not that food is bad to have.
Right.
Or
unless
the
you
internet is
identify
bad to
with the
use.
thought of being like, oh no, I'm eating too much or I'm under eating,
Yeah.
then that's when like it becomes that.
Right. Because you got to eat, and most people need, or it's very more convenient to do some of the stuff that you got to do on the internet. But it's a tool. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I feel like the internet is like a good tool, but we start to identify with it. Like when you become like a social media star and then like you have to post in order to get attention and that, you're just identifying with it rather than seeing it for what it is.
Right.
Right. That was just all I want to say, man.
I think some of it is an illusion that you even need to do that to escape it.
What do you mean?
Like, you could actually, you don't have to give in to temptation. And it passes.
Right.
So you, and you actually feel better not going with it if you stay aware through it and you and all that, you're better off. Whereas if you sink into eating too much, you physically feel worse. You definitely physically feel worse. And then sometimes you get into your head and feel bad about that too, and then that's the trap.
Right. And that's kind of like the illusion I'm kind of talking about, where you kind of just trap yourself, where you're just judging yourself, where you're being like, oh, well.
Yeah, but the trap is the illusion because you're not actually trapped. Because at every single point, let's say before you get tempted, you catch yourself and don't go with the temptation. That's a good point to stop. But let's say you're indulging in the temptation and you catch yourself there and then you draw away, or you catch yourself and you don't draw away, but you catch yourself and you catch yourself judging yourself, and then you stop judging yourself. Or afterwards, when you're sick, you catch yourself being mad about being sick, being mad at yourself for getting yourself sick. You can catch yourself at any point, right now.
Right. Right, I agree with you in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
JLP
anyway,
really loved that call. Dawn in the UK.
Right.
Shout out on the Jason
Shout
Peterson show today, June 4th. Cool, man.
Cool. It was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Daniel. Call me again sometime, if you so please.
Will do. Have a great day.
All right, you as well. Let me get to Hayden in Texas. Hayden, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, how are you, Hake?
Hey, doing fine. Thank you.
Good. I think now's the time all of us on Team White cannot trust Elon Musk anymore.
Why is that?
It's not so, you know me, I'm not really into the whole policy thing about the whole big beautiful bill thing or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he's going like he's attacking the Trump administration personally now.
Oh, really? What did he
thing.
say? I know that he went after the politicians who voted for the bill. He's saying, you did wrong, but I didn't hear him go after them personally. What did he say? Do you know offhand?
Well, yeah, he was in an interview. He was at his SpaceX headquarters or whatever, and he was telling the interviewer, well, I don't agree with everything that Trump says, and he's on X right now, or yesterday, and I guess today too, just going off. He says, I can't hold it in anymore. I just don't agree with this bill. Anyone who supports is evil, this and that.
Oh.
And it's just like, do you know what's in the big beautiful bill? Like what's in it? What's so bad about it?
I don't know. I just know I'm sure that there are bad things in it because I don't know. I'm sure of it because those politicians were involved in writing it. It wasn't written by Trump himself, I'm sorry,
Right.
but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. Posted tech billionaire Elon Musk on X on Trump's agenda bill, which they call it, which is the big, beautiful bill, I think,
Right.
which the president is pressuring the GOP senators to support because Congress passed it, I guess, and then now it's in the Senate to approve or not. A disgusting abomination, catching the White House officials off guard. And I heard, I saw a push notification from my news sources on my phone that the Congress is having a press conference because he went off like this. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess Elon Musk saying something positive or negative has a lot of political sway or at least intimidation for these guys. Interesting.
Well, this could have stayed in private, like that's the whole thing.
Well,
he shouldn't have. Go ahead.
Had it stayed private, he wouldn't have had as much. He wouldn't have gotten them to scramble and address his things as quickly or as strongly. I think that it's kind of
right.
I personally think it's kind of cool that he did it without knowing.
Really?
Because like you said, I don't know what's in the quote unquote big beautiful bill.
Right.
And I don't even think that Trump knows what all is in the big beautiful bill. I doubt that he's read it. Maybe he has.
Yeah.
But I just tend to doubt that any of these people have read the whole bill. Remember Obamacare? They didn't read it. Nobody read it. Some people might have, but it was like 10,000 pages or something crazy, huge, like like that. And there's all kinds of evil things in Obama's bill. I
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I could just imagine that that it's ridiculous. So I don't
You
know.
know, one of the scams that Obama did was that No Child Left Behind thing that he did back
I thought
in
that was
2010.
I thought that No Child Left Behind was whoa, that's interesting.
Was it Clinton or Obama?
I thought the No Child Left Behind was W.
Oh, George W. But okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was either Clinton or Obama. I may have gotten that wrong. But I know for sure he supported it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
You know,
remember. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember about the No Child Left Behind thing necessarily.
Yeah, but I mean the whole thing with Elon is like he's such a flip flopper. Like, but one minute he'll say, you know, I literally just mentioned this Monday. I was like, he's one of the people, you know, supporting Derek Chauvin being pardoned, but at the same time he was one of the two in support of the whole H-1B thing earlier this year, the H-1B visas.
Say
So
that
it's
again.
like he's
Oh yeah, he was for those H-1B visas. That's true. What a mess.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
I
So,
don't.
I mean,
You might be on to something. He's not necessarily trustworthy.
exactly.
entirely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. And also, have you seen? This is the left now. This is not MAGA. This is not the right. Have you seen the left? They're calling for war on the Republicans. Have you seen that recently?
No, I'm not really.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes. Thank you, Nick. I'm not really surprised, but but that's they're evil. They're evil, and
They're
they are hate filled, and they may hide behind, oh, we don't mean violence, but they know that their side is full of violent people. You kidding me? It's ridiculous.
Yep. And they want to rub January 6th in our nose one day, despite all the, you know, the days and days and days and months and months and months and even years in some cases of the violence and just corruption they've been up to. It's sick. They're hypocrites.
Totally.
They're total hypocrites. But yeah, you're one of your competitors who I strongly dislike. He's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Jesse's interviewed him actually. He said that he's strongly considering leaving the country, and I read through the comment section, and all of his supporters are on board as well. So apparently, a lot of Democrat voters are leaving the country, which I guess is good for us. So, yeah, I thought that was worth bringing up.
Wow.
But also, I saw this meme. It was sort of a meme, but it was true though. I probably know your answer to it, but the question was, who would you rather live next to or be neighbors with, a white nationalist or a black nationalist? However you want to categorize it or the name you want to use for it. But that's an interesting question for people to respond to on your show, I guess. Who would you rather live? Someone on the white nationalist side or the black nationalist side? Who would you want to be neighbors with? So I mean, I thought that was an interesting question to. What your response would be white, obviously, right?
Yeah.
A white nationalist.
Almost for sure. My only drawback is a white nationalist may get more negative attention because nobody blinks an eye over the black nationalists, and so if the government has to come down on the white nationalists, because you know the government tends to come down hard on white nationalists for whether it's justified or not, you know, then the government's not necessarily going to come down as hard on the black nationalist. A black nationalist has to do something pretty bad for the government to come down hard on them. But a white nationalist doesn't necessarily have to do anything particularly bad for the government to come down hard on them. In terms of what I've seen, you know? And so if the government comes and has to come out with snipers, I don't want any stray bullets coming at my house or whatever. So that's my only
correct,
drawback.
though. You're correct.
But the white nationalist is going to be, you know, like a pretty good neighbor, you know? And the black nationalists, sometimes those guys are fairly upstanding, you know, civilized. but they're also they're both of them are angry, usually. But yeah, a black nationalist is
They
gonna
can be.
yeah, a black nationalist is gonna have that black thing. You know how blacks are. They're like
I know how they
they
are.
tend to like argue. You know, when you don't have to argue, and get stubborn when you don't have to get stubborn.
Yeah,
They have
you're
that extra
100%
thing
correct.
going against them. They have that black attitude sometimes. Shout out.
I know.
So yeah, I would
Sassy
definitely
and
go for the white.
vicious and just. Oh, definitely, yeah. But I mean, like seriously, I mean, I would love to hear. Who would you rather live next to, a white nationalist or a black nationalist,
Okay.
and why? From some of your skeptical callers, but
Sure.
what inspired that was the meme said I've never heard the words, or no one's ever heard the words of white nationalists, someone having to buy a Ring camera because white nationalists are stealing your packages or whatever.
Yeah.
And the picture was four blacks, stealing someone's package or trying to break in or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's what inspired it.
Okay. Interesting. Right on, Hayden. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you, Hake. Have a good day.
All right. Okay, before I get back to the calls, I do have some super chats to read. Do catch Joel Friday TV next. Let me just type that in so you guys can all find Joel Friday TV. I'll pin the live. I'll pin it into the live chat over on the YouTube anyway, and paste it into some of these other platforms, because that way you can find them. I do have the redirect set. If you're watching on YouTube, he's not live on Rumble, okay? He doesn't have his Rumble set up, so he streams on YouTube and IG only. So don't be stubborn, you Rumble only people. I respect it, but catch it. And don't hold a grudge just because you disagree with him or you judge him as being immoral and an animal abuser and a white hater or whatever. Don't hold a grudge. You can learn something, you know? We are all Christians. We are brothers. Or not, we're not necessarily all Christians. But, anyway, shout out. What is his upcoming thing? I scheduled it. How it's added and how to keep it. Nice. And if you disagree, call in. If you like. Right on. So that's, the Joel Friday. Joel Friday TV. But I did mention that I'd like to get to some super chats. We'll see what I can do over here. Pork Chop Express says, Happy Killdozer Hake. Happy Killdozer Day, Hake. I heard of Killdozer from the late, great, our resident historian, persecuted white nationalist, I guess you could call him. If he's a white nationalist. He might have been. Asmodor, our resident historian. He died. Mays accused him of doing something stupid to the government, so he was on the run. I don't know if he might agree that he did something stupid, but it wasn't like... Anyway, Happy Killdozer Day, Hake. I was always willing to be reasonable until I had to be unreasonable. Sometimes reasonable men must do unreasonable things. That's what Marvin Heemeyer purportedly said per Pork Chop Express's Rumble rant. I disavow. James Anton Hake, or Anton Hake. Anton. James Anton Hake. If I want to say it like some people say, Anton, or Anton. Anton Hake. Yeah, it's unreasonable to disavow, but I disavow. Sometimes it's unreasonable to disavow. This one, I'm not sure if that's unreasonable or not. Let me just show you guys who Killdozer was. Just do a quick search, because I don't think he actually killed anybody, but he did get killed, I think. Marvin Heemeyer. Heemeyer. And there's a bulldozer thing. That's a bulldozer, right? That's his big killdozer. October 28th, 1951. Died on June 4th, on this day in 2004, 21 years ago. Wow. And this was when I was in college. I was not paying attention to anything. Not really. Marvin John Heemeyer was an American automobile muffler repair shop owner, demolished numerous buildings with a modified bulldozer in Granby, Colorado in June 2004. Heemeyer's machine posthumously nicknamed the Killdozer. Oh, I thought that he was called the Killdozer, but he drove it. October 28th, 1951, he was born, died at the tender age of 52 in Granby, Colorado, in June 4th, 2004. Known for the Killdozer Rampage. There was a movie named Tread after him, and that's rough. Oh no, he died by suicide. There I am using the liberal phrase, died by suicide. He killed himself. Sorry, kids. By the way, he was a U.S. Air Force veteran. Air Force is better than the Navy. At least we should rename the USNS Harvey Milk to the USNS Marvin Heemeyer. I'm kidding around slightly, somewhat, but never commit suicide. Everything's gonna see all right. Say the Crips, because they don't want to say the B and B all right, because they hate the Bloods. Shout out. He's a welder. Tread is some movie. I disavow it. Okay? We're not going to go there. There's another 2014 thing. Killdozer. Oh. Killdozer incident. Here, let me go to these. I don't want to get too carried away, but what was his motive? What was his motive? It's basically, it's kind of sort of terrorism almost, but he didn't kill anybody, right? He just demolished some buildings. That was what he looked like. The tender age of 52 years old. Killed himself. That's not good. He demolished the Granby Town Hall, the house of the former mayor, several other buildings, at least a few. They abused the word several. He killed himself after the bulldozer became stuck in a hardware store that he was destroying. No one else was injured or killed. Defenders of Heemeyer said he made a point of not hurting anybody during his bulldozer rampage. But what was his motive? Basically that, what? He was a likable person, said his friend. He would bend over backwards for anyone. Typical white. I don't know if that's typical. I think it's common. Common among many men. And even the gals. They let it be known they're bending over backwards for you. Strongly in favor of gambling legalization. Campaigned for the cause several occasions. He enjoyed taking snowmobile trips with his friends. So he wanted... What was his motive? Did it say anything about his motive? Zoning and sewage disputes. So he didn't like the local government. He had a problem with the local government. So he basically didn't have rights to his property, it sounds like. They violated his rights to his own property or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I guess happy Killdozer Day. Rest in peace to the Killdozer man. It's sort of funny, man. And terrible. Pork Chop Express, the Killdozer. Not that Pork Chop is that, but Woo. It's funny that it's called Killdozer and you didn't kill anybody. Evil is still real, says with the more super chats, guys. Evil is still real. Did Mark just call someone else a dummy? That is rich. And no, Mark, the Don Krishan did not get you confused with anyone else. You correctly called you. Don't read this, kids. You stupid, idiotic, ignorant fool. You have Biden brain, says Evil is real. Elijah Jordan Peterson refused to say he's a Christian. Fraud. Fraud? That's not necessarily fraudulent because he's never really called himself that. I think he said that he believes in God, or he has to say that he believes in God because I don't know. He's interesting, perhaps, although it may be getting old. But shout out. Evil is still real, but thank you, Elijah. Yeah, don't get too. I think part of the problem is people get too excited about a person with whom they agree, for or against, with whom they disagree in the case of against. They get too excited against the person or too excited for the person, and you shouldn't be excited either way. Or judge them. Judge them as good, then they're going to judge them as bad. It's best not to agree or disagree. Thank you, Elijah. Always supportive, man. Very cool. So, yeah, I mean, he does seem, when he's crying, he's lying. So I don't completely disavow your statement there, Elijah. I'm just standing up to look for something. Because I wish I had that light on, but it's okay. Whatever. Okay. Evil is still real says that is now 2. You know what I mean? Without a jelly bean or a yes I do tennis shoe. What the blick? What the bleep? Yeah. Jules Verne misses the Polish jokes, the Polak jokes. Yeah, I know. I miss those too. Pablo says with 3 coffees, nice shirt. Hey, thanks, man. See it? The JP, Jordan Peterson, quote-unquote, debate was edited to get this reaction. Everyone is mad at him for not claiming to be a Christian. Yeah, and why would you be mad about him for that, at him for that? I don't think he ever said that he was a Christian. I don't think. He's just Christian. I think of him as one of those Christian-friendly sort of atheist or whatever he is. Because there's other guys who are openly atheists, not sort of shrouded about it. Stefan Molyneux, Christian-friendly atheist. You know what I mean? Rather than a dumb liberal atheist. I don't even know what Stefan Molyneux is anymore. He may be, I don't know. Elijah, support for Israel equals support for the destruction of the United States. So says he. Says you, Elijah. And that's right, he does say that. And he may have reasons to say that. All Israelis aren't for the destruction of America. You know what I mean? Or it's not even that they're for it. I don't know, man. It depends on the type of support. How about that? Because there are the enemies of America make a show of supporting Israel, but they also make a show of supporting America. There are politicians, scum of the earth, and judges, so-called, and activists. Just, they pretend like they love America, and they pretend like they love Israel. And so when you look at that, yeah. But Trump supports Israel, and he's not supporting the destruction of America, I don't think. JLP supports Israel. He doesn't support the destruction of America. You could accuse him of maybe inadvertently or ignorantly. I don't think so, though, man. Elijah, thank you for your diamond. Appreciate that as always, man. And let's see. Oh, I guess that's everything. Nice. For now. Okay, before I get back to the calls, one or two more news items because this is important to me, or at least it caught my eye, because the Harvey Milk renaming, it's really kind of just vanity. Here's more vanity, though. The Commie Nonsense Network is pretending like they're, like Trump is undercutting violent crime prevention. Violent crime prevention. Please. And then this fake idea about gender-affirming care. On the campaign trail, Trump falsely claimed that violent crime had skyrocketed in the United States and that communities were less safe. I think that's true. This is a write-up, morning updates from this woman, Jade Walker. And these people are hiding behind the incomplete numbers, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can correct me though, because I don't think I am wrong, of violent crime numbers. Because the FBI is not honest. They're liberal. And on top of that, the cities are not honest. They're liberal. And on top of that, the cities don't necessarily give, whether because of dishonest reasons or because of just honest reasons, plain and honest, decent reasons, they don't give their numbers to the FBI. So the FBI didn't necessarily claim that crime went down. The FBI reported that both violent and property crime had declined during the Biden administration. Trump continued to present a picture of unbridled crime in America and had declined during the Trump administration. Let's pretend that it had. Let's say Biden came in 2020, January of 2021, there were still remnants of Black Lives Matter still going crazy and destruction. And so there was crime going crazy, up to like level 11 out of 10, right? And then it dropped down to 10 out of 10 crime levels. Oh yeah, it declined during the Biden administration. It's still out of control. It's still out of control. So that's a vague weasel words, to use a phrase. Phrase crime had declined during the Biden administration, violent and property crime. And they don't have all the numbers, and they're liberal, and the cities are cooking the books. They don't report all the crime, and people give up on reporting crime. So, pardon me for overreacting to this, what I deem to be dishonest reporting. Trump continued to present a picture of unbridled crime in America, which everybody feels and knows and all that. Since Trump returned to the White House, his administration eliminated about $500 million in grants to organizations that bolster public safety, so they claim. Communist, fake, including many working to prevent gun violence. These grant cuts, like youth diversion, I don't know what type of grants these were, but what they pretend is that, oh, you need to throw money at this problem, and these, we fight crime, we help the kids do other things, or stuff like that. Just dumb communist stuff. Feel good communist mama stuff, rather than defund single mothers. You defund single mothers, I bet you greatly diminish the crime problem. Because single mothers raise criminals more often per capita. Look into it. It's true. That's just true. You defund them, you get less of them. We're subsidizing them. You subsidize what you want more of. I learned from a fellow based people who are America first. And that's just plain true. You don't throw money at the problem, you take money away from the problem. These grant cuts have prompted layoffs and reductions in state and local level services around the country. I didn't need any service not to commit any crime. I just needed decent people around me. Parents, I guess I don't know if I needed it. It did enter my mind to steal that one time, remember? Steal the gum? And I didn't do it. I'm kind of glad that I didn't do it. You guys remember I told that story? I went to the liquor store or the newsstand, and I saw that gum. I could take that gum, and he probably wouldn't see me. I was a kid, but I didn't take the gum. Had I taken the gum, I might have crossed a line, and then it would have been easy to keep on taking the gum. Who knows where I would be? Terrible. As well as legal proceedings against the Department of Justice. Yeah, there's probably some legal proceedings against the Department of Justice, some of which are just legal proceedings against them, many of which are probably unjust. We should probably defund part of whole chunks of the Department of Justice, get rid of the civil rights part of it, and we need Congress, I guess, to overturn this so-called civil rights legislation. It would be nice if they did. So that's the fake news from Commie Nonsense, trying to pretend like Trump is undermining law and order when he's the law and order president. Kind of like when they accused him of being a criminal. Very communist of them. Very call things the opposite of what it really is, which is what brings me to gender-affirming care, the opposite of what it actually is. If you wanted to affirm somebody's gender, you'd be like, you are a male boy or male man, M-A-L-E, or a female girl or a female woman. That would be affirming their gender, his gender, her gender. But no, this federal so-called judge ordered Trump administration to continue providing gender-affirming medication to transgender inmates in federal prisons. None of that is real. Earlier this year, Trump told the Bureau of Prisons, BOP, revise policies to ensure no federal funds expended for any medical procedure, treatment, drug for the purpose of conforming an inmate's appearance to that of the opposite sex. That's a good policy, I think. A group of transgender inmates, probably with the help of an evil organization. I brought up the ACLU. I don't know if they're involved. Or the fake human rights campaign or whatever. Because there's no such thing as human rights. Challenged the order, and U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth said they were likely to succeed in their claim the agency had violated rulemaking procedures. Nothing in the thin record before the court suggests that either the BOP or president consciously took stock of, much less studied, like you need to study, the potential debilitating effects that new policies could have on transgender inmates before implementing memoranda came into force. Okay, so let's say you're on these hormones or drugs and you need to wean them off or something. Just do that if you want to fix the policy thing. This is Royce Lamberth. Look at this. Is that a Gen X or is that a boomer? 81 years old. Might be older than a boomer. An 81-year-old so-called judge. George Washington University. His reign of terror at the Department of the Interior. Indian rights dispute. 1996. Is he trying to make up for his violating the Indian rights? Royce Charles Lamberth, senior judge, blah, 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 blah. A so-called Republican? Is this the same Royce Lamberth? Rhinos. Crazy, huh? 2015, that would have been under Obama. Was he an appointee of Obama? Did Obama appoint him, or was that like an election? I don't know how these judge things work. But that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. He fell for it. An 81-year-old man fell for the propaganda. Pretending that this stuff is real. That's not good. That's not right. I don't think. Anyway, gender-affirming care. I shake my head. Per Judge Royce Lamberth. Normally, they don't name the judges, or oftentimes I notice they don't name the judges when they talk about this stuff. Because oftentimes I'm interested in seeing what the judge is, if it's a woman or if it's a POC, just because I'm interested in that stuff. I guess that makes, because since I'm interested in race and sex, meaning gender, am I a sexist and a racist? According to the great Krishan, the Dawn of the Misfit Nation, that would make me think violence prevention propaganda. That's that terrible lies. Whatever. I gotta get to Christian in Utah on the line over here. Christian, are you there?
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, all is well. How you doing, man?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
Nice. Hey, I was just wondering if I can ask you a question. You participate in the silent prayer, right?
Right. It's a funny phrase, participate, but yes.
You do the silent prayer.
Yeah.
When you first started doing it, did you ever have like trouble sticking with it?
Yeah.
And not doing it sometimes? Okay.
Definitely.
What did you ever like come to like a realization where you just had to do it, or like did something like in you just do it for you? I'm just a little confused because I notice myself that I'm not consistent with it, but I do try my best to stay present and aware.
Well, for me, I realized that I didn't care. I didn't actually care. I didn't actually believe in it. I didn't actually care. I wasn't actually serious like I thought I was. I was just, I sought after God, quote unquote, because I was in a discomfort. And it was kind of like my question to Derek on Sunday. I don't know if you caught church. You know, the notion of suffering, because I thought I was suffering, or I was suffering, or whatever. It was a selfish seeking of God, and then when the sensation, that suffering sensation gone, don't care about that. I'm like I am/was like the Israelites in the desert, or the Israelites under God, only under the distress did they seek God, and in the comfort times they forgot Him.
Yeah.
So that's all. For me, that's what that is/was.
What brought you into caring about it?
What brought me into caring about doing the silent prayer?
Yeah, because you said you didn't care, and then like, what brought you out of that?
I think that if you pay attention, it doesn't matter if you care or not. You pay attention, you can't help but do it.
That makes sense.
Because you won't forget to do it because you're paying attention.
Yeah.
And you're a little less likely to wait until you're just like too tired or stuff like that, or get caught up in this thinking that you're too busy, stuff like that.
Yeah, and like it's mainly like laziness for myself. That's what I can see sometimes. I'm just like, too tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really just trying to stick with it because like I'm taking all these just things in from Bond and what Jesse says and even what you say and just how you guys talk about even the world, and it's there. Like it's just I can see it all. But I have all these things inside me that still come up, and I appreciate that, man, and thank you for answering my question. Thank you.
Yeah, if you calm down and pay attention to yourself, it's like the stuff. It's like a little bit of realizations come to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even, like, I used to get all up in my head when I first inquired with Bond, when Jesse said to go forgive your mother. I used to have those thoughts in my head even when after I did forgive my parents, that everything would just be complete heaven right then and there and just perfect, and everything is just, and I was lost in my head about that too. But I know, I just don't know. So I guess I'm just going to stick with it.
Nice.
Yeah. But, yeah, I really appreciate everything that you are doing, and everything that Jesse does, and just God bless you and Bond. It's a great organization, and it really does just, if people really want the help and they're willing to accept it and go through all that, then it's there. So that's what I can see.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. It's always it's always fun hearing from you. I appreciate your call as always, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. And I wish you well, and just everybody at Bond, God bless, and hope you guys have a good day.
All right. Take care. Christian
Thanks,
in Utah. And Robert in Kansas. I would be remiss to miss Robert in Kansas. What's up, man?
Hello, Hake. Hey, man, why you keep me on hold like that, brother? Do you not want me to call?
You're okay calling.
Hello?
A lot of people get on hold a long time. You weren't on hold. You weren't even on hold the longest.
Well, no, I'm just saying you don't have to ban me, Hake. You don't have to tell Derek nothing. Just, if you don't want me to call, brother, I want to, it's your show, so I appreciate it.
No
Hey,
problem.
and shout out to Derek, right? Every time he picks up the phone, he's a Memphis guy. He's a Southern guy like me, but
Very polite.
I know do what?
Very polite.
Well, no, he's what he is, but I know that Jesse was calling him a little coon or something.
That's
before.
what somebody else called him.
Yeah, well, when I get out there to church, I'll give him a big, we can't do it on the internet, right? So I'll give him an N-word. I'll give him a big N-word from a white guy, and that way he can be blessed on both sides and go straight forward.
Right on.
Right. So the blacks are calling him a coon,
a little C, not to be confused with a little C, and a big N. Fair enough.
Well, no, I just, if he can get past all those words, right, as a young man. Hey, did you got to give me some time, bro. You need me, man. Did you say that you got punched in the nose, or you punched somebody in the nose? Did you pretend like that happened the other day on your show? I've
like done little bits of like almost fighting. And there's been times where, you get hit in a certain place, it just hurts, and you get inflamed with a rage about it. It's almost like getting hit in your funny bone. It's like, and you get mad about it almost.
Well, have you ever been hit in the nose? Someone ever hit you in the face?
I don't dox whether I've been ever hit in the nose or the face.
All right. Well, I just wondering. I've been hit in the face, and I've hit in the face and all that. So, hey, my question, my reason for calling. Sorry, man. My preambles are always so long.
Real quick.
Real quick. Damn. Okay.
Darn.
Dude, you got to give me more time.
You end up cussing, and then I have to hang up on you.
No, sir. Come on. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
We're us Southerners, right? So the gay-straight war is what I called.
Yeah.
Hey, which side would you be on in the gay-straight war?
Neither side.
Okay.
Because we shouldn't be warring. When you in war, you lose. Everybody loses, usually.
Well, in Leviticus, it calls for the death of all perverts.
I disavow that.
Animals. Well, in Leviticus, it's in Leviticus.
I disavow Leviticus. That's Jewish stuff, right? Isn't that Jewish?
Well, it's religion. It's God's word.
I disavow God's word.
It disavows sex with animals, sex with children.
I do disavow those things too, man.
Yeah, and sex with the same sex. So if you have sex with the same
obviously,
sex,
it doesn't even make sense.
You're supposed
You can't
to
even
be,
do that, really.
Well, okay. So you can have sodomy with the same sex.
I gotta run.
And then
I gotta run, man. But I answered your question. Thank you for your call, Robert.
Hey, could you give me one more minute, bro? Are you serious?
Yeah, because you keep on saying stuff that's like too vulgar and explicit for my show. I don't like it.
Okay, so let's not be violent towards perverts. So what do? We outlaw perversion, homosexuality, bestiality, pedophilia. All these things should be outlawed. Because if you allow one, you have to allow all.
Eventually, it ends up like that, isn't it? Thank you, Robert.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, man. I got to run. I gave you 30 seconds, not a minute, but take care, man.
Hey, you.
I got to hang up on him. I have these super chats. Thank you, Robert. Very kind, man. I don't know about kind, but thank you, sir. I have these super chats to get to and, a short amount of time to do it. Harmony bought some coffees. Other people bought some coffees. The G straight war. I just explained, lay down your weapons. Cesar bought a coffee, or a couple actually, I think. You guys bought books. Okay, where am I? Pablo, I think I read that already, right? Nice shirt, Hake. Oh yeah, no, I didn't read this. Oh, Cesar, 3 coffees. Sup, Hake, another busy work day for me. Man, I miss my daily routine. I think I had read that one. Pablo, 3 coffees. Nice shirt, Hake. The JP debate was edited to get this reaction. Oh, yeah, everybody mad at him for not claiming to be Christian. I did read that, huh? Yeah, I think you might be right. It was a fake gotcha, honestly. It's a fake gotcha. It's not news. We already knew he wasn't Christian. We already knew he never really claimed to be Christian. And, I did like the "you are nothing" line. And I don't think that was actually an insult, even though he may have meant it to be an insult. The guy who called him nothing. But I haven't really seen the thing. Jordan B. Peterson, this psychology professor guy from Canada. And he's used to be a communist, I think I heard. And now he's one of those reasonable liberals, I guess we would call him, or something, which is to say sort of weak and wishy-washy a little bit in some ways, but honorable in others, I suppose, maybe, I don't know. Cesar, 3 coffees. Sup, Hake? Raining all day over here. No work for me. Wow. I did catch the first 45 minutes yesterday's show. Also, the last 7 minutes agree with the Dawn when he says Christians are under attack. But man, did he bash Mark at the end. LOL, lots of laughs. Hat tip to Colin Flaherty, who said that instead of laughing out loud. I thought it was unnecessary. I'm glad Mark showed emotional restraint. That's growth right there. Regarding Jesse's last caller Friday that was talking about South Africa, man, the guy couldn't answer just one question from Jesse. Really respect JLP's patience with him. By the way, nice intro today, man. Makes you sound healthy and strong. Thanks. Strong army emoji, tanned. You mean where I was saying, Yenrik Yagoda, 3 coffees. Hake, why do you say not a Christian, only for people who share their ethnicity with Jesus Christ? I never see you say this for Muslims, atheists, etc. Yeah, because I don't want to say they're Jewish, because that sounds too anti-Jewish. So I just call them not a Christian. Do you think that they share their ethnicity with Jesus Christ? Was Jesus Ashkenazi? I joke around that he was. But, it's just a ongoing sort of inside joke / jab. I don't mean it. Well, sometimes I'm being nasty about it, but I generally try not to be nasty, But it's kind of it's like code for saying they're Jewish. Shout out to the Jews. Not a Christian, not Christians. Sometimes they are though. Mitt Coffee, sending you screenshots of my Spotify. Hake rules and solves all problems. Hake rules and solves all problems. Enjoy the coffee. One day we'll talk about black and white situation in Australia. Hard convo. Love, heart emoji from Australia, mate. And he says white power, which I, of course, disavow. The Mitt. And JC, I'm going to have to read yours tomorrow. He says, happy Pride. And he goes on and on. I'll have to read it tomorrow. Harmony says, thank you, Hake, for always being so cool. I trust Trump. Yeah, I trust him a little bit. Thank you, guys. And Rick in Hampton, VA, the rest of the callers, Alex in Tejas. I got to close up shop. Joel Friday coming in. No ending song. Bye, guys. Take care. Oh, and you don't have to play that closing thing. Take care.